Here we go. The Friday Night Forum. Why, hello, everybody. Welcome to the Friday Night Forum. It is Friday, February 5th, and we're back again. Talk about real estate, talk about business, talk about whatever comes up. And today we've got a couple of people with me. As usual, we've got Arlene, the realtor, here. Hello.
As usual.
As usual. And today we actually have another guest, the one, the only, Maria Acuna. Actually, my mother here. Here she is. Hello.
Hey.
Nice to be here.
Yes. Hello. So, and actually, hold on here. We've even got a special little logo going on for today. Hold on. Let's see if we can do this properly. Ready? There you go.
Hola.
Hola.
I love it.
What do you think? Hola.
It's so awesome.
Hello.
That is
All right.
Keep it there.
Yeah.
I'm having a little difficulty hearing you,
You
but
sound static. I don't know if everybody else sounds staticky, but
we might need to get you on a hard wire at some point in order to get you clear on here. But let's just go ahead and move forward and see what we got for now. So yeah, well, hello. We're in February finally, right? Month 2 of the follow up to the craziest year ever. So just, I guess, to right off the bat, how are you guys feeling so far now that we're in February?
feeling
I
Arlene?
can't
good.
believe February.
Lot of
January
competition.
went by like this, like nothing.
Yep, Mom, you had something to say there?
A lot of competition out there. A lot of poor buyers.
Yeah, definitely craziness.
Strong buyers.
And you know,
Strong buyers.
let me see if I can go ahead and just share, get right into just doing a market update, because I wanted to go into an update, and we'll just go ahead and we'll talk about what's going on in Hampden County.
Let me know.
And I think you guys can see some of this. All right, let me put you to the side here.
I don't even want to see it. I really don't. I'm just.
Not interested?
It gets worse every time I look at it.
Oh, jeez.
It gets worse every time you look at it.
Yeah, it's insane.
It is.
All right, so we're actually going to start off with some multifamilies here. So Hampden County right now, not too crazy actually when you're looking at the multifamilies versus the single families. And actually, I saw a couple of interesting things that I wasn't quite expecting to see here. But with inventory coming on as of the 31st, so the first month of the year, we had about 126 listing units coming on for multifamilies versus the 137 last year. So not a huge difference there. But the average listing price actually went down. You see this?
What?
So I thought that was interesting. It might be a little bit of an anomaly depending on what was actually on the market last year.
Mhm.
But it's still, a seller's market for everyone all around, multifamilies and single families. And, I want to go ahead and try to show you my my single family update here. I actually grabbed the wrong tab there when I did that.
I like the music.
Oh, wrong again. What do you have to say there?
I like the music.
All right, hold on here. Maybe I can actually do this the correct way this time. All right, here we go. Single families.
There we go.
All right. So January, single family listing units. We had 56% less houses came on the market, or that were available right now, actually, versus January of last year. Listing units taking 283 versus 332, so 14% decrease in the number of listings that came on. And pretty much the same thing that we've been seeing before. More sales actually going through. Days on the market is down. Days on the market right now for the end of January was 53 versus the same time last year was 73. The average sale price 258.
That's insane.
Again, in Hampden County, that's up $30,000 from the same time last year. So I mean, there's nothing really surprising here, though, right? I mean,
No.
were we expecting are we expecting me to say anything different when we went over this update?
No, I mean, if you go all the way up, and there was like a $60,000 difference from last year. I mean, I was expecting a huge difference, but to actually see it's incredible.
Yeah, no. It is absolutely crazy. That's the average
list price.
Yeah,
that's incredible.
It's up 20% from the same time last year.
I remember when I first started, the difference from year to year was. I mean, we saw the difference, but it was never this dramatic.
No, definitely never this dramatic. But again, after what we went through last year, I mean, I don't think that we really expected anything different moving forward at this point. So, which actually brings me to a couple of things that I wanted to talk about today. And one of them, because we're so crazy right now, right? Things are moving so fast. It is very, very easy to get a buyer for your house, right?
Yes.
We can all agree on that. Houses sell actually pretty quick. And as you can see, days on the market's down. Demand is so high that, a seller doesn't necessarily have to do much in terms of repairs and all that stuff in order to attract really strong offers on the house. But how long do they need to have it on the market in order to get that right offer? You guys have any thoughts on that?
Well, they should give opportunity to all the buyers, not just the first offer that comes in.
It is frustrating because I work mostly with buyers. A house hits a market, 6 hours later, I call the agent, hey, we want to see the house. And they're like, we already accepted an offer. Like, how can you possibly get the best offer in 6 hours? I mean, what if you're missing out on a cash buyer that's just willing to get it, but you didn't give it an opportunity? Or a higher offer.
Yeah, and a statistic I read the other day is that nationally right now, about 1 in 4 offers are cash. So 25% of offers are cash nationally. So there's a pretty good chance that you will actually get a cash offer on your property, right? And again, the market is hot, so you're gonna get offers right away. But just like my mom said, that first offer may not necessarily be the best offer, right? You may have a situation where the best offer, that buyer is at work that day, the day you listed it, right? And so they can't get in for another day or two. I've actually had situations like that. We all go down this road of trying to, do the open house deferred showings, right? Which makes sense. It really does make sense overall for sellers. It is a great tool for them to use. But I've had buyers that their schedule, they work on Sundays. They also work on Mondays, and then they work Tuesdays. The first available day that they're available to see houses is that Wednesday. A house comes on the market, deferred showings till Sunday. They can't get in. Best and final by Tuesday. This person misses out, right? And they're actually ready to make really strong offers. We eventually got a property. But we went through that same scenario over and over and over again, where the house wasn't exposed to the market long enough for them to actually have an opportunity to compete with everybody, right? And I think a lot of sellers, or maybe I should say agents, get overexcited when a house comes on the market and they get 10 offers that day, and they're thinking, "Wow, look at everything! Look how great I am! Look what I did to get this." But it may not be in your seller's best interest to accept that offer right away. Maybe in their best interest to give it a couple days to make sure that enough people have gotten in there. So now you have a larger pool of buyers in order to deal with.
I've also, I don't know if you've noticed, but I've seen more houses come back on the market quicker. They accept the offer, and then like a week later, I'm seeing them come back. And I talked to the agent, I talked to them initially and they're like, yeah, we got like 10 offers. The house hits the market again. And then they're struggling to get more offers because people think something's wrong. I think it's the natural.
Right. Some people overbid and then think about it afterwards and say,
Yep.
oh, what did I do? Or some people overbid and they don't even qualify for it.
Yep.
It has happened where the financing fell through. We had one this week. 2 people, 2 different times, the financing fell through. What's happening there? So yeah.
The other thing is you have some buyers who make that offer really high with the expectation that they're going to try to negotiate it down after an inspection. Right. And maybe they show the signs right away that they're going to be a problem. The deal gets shaky, or they do an inspection right away and they try to negotiate all these items that really aren't major problems. And then that seller throws it back on the market to see if they can get another buyer.
And we have to put that on the agents, on us, to educate our clients. Like, that's not a thing we can do these days. And I see that. I mean, I've had buyers that are just like, we'll negotiate at the inspection. We talked about this last time. It's like, no, that's not even a thing right now. It's like, you have to hope, for most cases, you have to take it as is and hope for the best.
Exactly.
You definitely do. Actually, we got a question on it. I'm just gonna jump to this right now. So Marcy, actually, we haven't seen you in a while. How you doing? So what are we projecting? An increase in inventory? Question mark. Right? I'm looking to purchase a home this summer. So, nobody has a crystal ball, right? But what we are experiencing or have been experiencing is a lack of inventory, right? We've got really high demand. And, when I say lack of inventory, it's not that we've got less houses, a ton of less houses coming on the market. It's just that there's so many more buyers out there that there's not enough inventory to satisfy that demand. Right. So, we do hear talks of, possible properties coming on the market or inventory coming on the market because of forbearances of ending. But, I think a lot of those sellers may be in a position to maybe remodify, to do some sort of loan modification, or if they need to sell, they may have equity in their property. And the demand is still so high that it's likely to just, eat that right up and absorb, whatever extra inventory we do possibly get. Right.
I was going to say, go ahead, Maria. Sorry. There's too many of us.
If interest rates keep going the way they are, as low as they are, we're going to still have more buyers than inventory.
And I just did a first-time home buyer class a couple weeks ago. There were enough people in that class to eat up the market right now. That was one class.
Right.
So if you think about it, classes happen all the time. And this was one class, and they literally could have probably wiped about 85% of the market if each one of them bought something that day. So it's insane how many buyers are out there. Yeah,
it's not that hard to do that. In areas like when areas like Springfield only have 60 something houses on the market. Right. So, that kind of brings us up to a different part of the conversation, because these buyers are dealing with such low inventory with not a huge expectation that that's going to really change, anytime soon. It's, widening that net. Right. And we've talked about this before. Right. And it actually goes on to multifamilies. I just had an interview this past week with was it Mass Live or whatever the interviews that we do. But we were talking about, we were talking about it. So many, sometimes you forget what you're doing. But we were talking about how some single family buyers are actually considering multifamily houses now. Because there was actually a point a couple weeks ago where there was more multifamily houses on the market than single families. Right now, they're both in the 60s in Springfield. So if you're going to consider a single family in Springfield, you may want to consider a multifamily because now you have a few more options. Springfield's very eclectic with the neighborhoods where you've got singles and multis mixed together. And my dad had mentioned it before, one of the other lives we did. You don't have to use it as a multi. Right now, you just got a big single family house, right? There's different creative ways you can utilize the property. And then that other idea of, house hacking, getting that first house as a multifamily, then using that as a stepping stone to pay for the next property. Yeah. So what did you do a interview recently over there?
Arlene?
Yeah, Arlene.
Did I? That's a No, I don't think for what? For the news?
Mass life?
For anything.
No, I haven't. No, I haven't done. I haven't done a mass appeal since last year.
That's what it is. I always forget the name.
But my last mass appeal was about being ready as a buyer in this market, and it's only gotten worse since then. And the only thing I tell people is, try to get qualified for a conventional loan. Just keep saving your money, make yourself a stronger buyer as much as possible. So when that house hits that you want, at least you're as prepared as you can be.
Have that down payment. Have
Yeah.
the closing costs, especially closing costs, because we're having
Yep.
a lot. You get outbid when you're asking sellers for things. If you
Yep.
ask for too much, that other buyer that asked for nothing is going to get that house.
Definitely. Only the strongest will survive.
Yes.
Right. With so much competition, the sellers can go after the most qualified buyers. Right.
And with the
So
conventional, you can start looking at houses that have been on the market a little longer that may have had, and a lot of the times I'm finding they're just financing issues, but most people see that the house has been on and off. They think there's something wrong with the house when it really isn't. It's just, it just looks like there is. So that's, not being afraid to look at older houses, especially if you have a conventional loan.
Right. And as realtors, we're going to look out for them and we're going to ask those questions. Why was it on the market? Why did it come back twice? We try to get that information before you put in an offer.
Yeah, definitely. You want to find out as much as possible because, like I said, any of that could be helpful when you're dealing with the property. So, any tips for multifamily buyers right now, or anyone considering a multifamily? Mom?
Well, with the multifamilies, if you're going to ask for it to be vacated, that may be an issue right now.
Mm-hmm.
With the COVID and the rules right now, we can't just vacate properties. So it could be a long time before you can get into the property. You might have to purchase it with the tenants, which is
making sure you get the tenant information.
Not a good idea.
Yeah. Making sure the status of the tenants, making sure, if the current owner has the security deposit, how they're handling it.
Yep.
All that stuff you want to know ahead of time for sure.
If you're going to buy a multifamily and become a landlord, you should be taking the landlord classes.
Absolutely.
Wayfinder offers the landlord classes. It's really important to know what you're getting into, what you can and cannot say as a landlord. You have to protect yourself.
Oh, I've heard some things like, I don't think you should be telling me this. I hear some things and being an agent, they're represented by another realtor. And I hear them say something and I want to be like, you shouldn't be saying that. And I'm like, it's not my place to tell them that, but thanks for telling me, I'll use that information for myself. I hear a lot of stuff I should not be hearing.
It's very interesting. And if you're going to be a buyer or a landlord, you should get educated, right? That's the whole point.
Absolutely.
There's classes available for landlords, classes available for buyers.
Organizations out there for landlords.
Hold on here.
Do you have a question?
Can we get Maria at username ASAP?
We got to get you an Instagram.
Because we have at HeSellsHouses, at Arlene the Realtor. We need one for you now.
Oh, okay.
That's what you're talking about.
Right. So, what about lead certificates?
Oh, lead certificates. That's a good one. Well, making sure that they do have lead certificates. A lot of houses are older homes and a lot don't have the lead certificates. And the sellers do not have to supply the lead certificates. So have that information before you move forward.
Especially if you have young kids under 6 years old. We'll go technical. If the house was built before 1978, there's a potential for lead. And if you have a child under 6 years old, apparently they like sucking on windowsills and the walls and all that. So it's possible they get lead in their blood. And, you want to, make sure they're okay.
Absolutely. And you should look at the dates on those lead certificates too.
Absolutely.
Some could be like 20 years old, the lead certificate. Well, that doesn't mean there's no lead now. It could
it's true. It's important to understand what it is that you're getting, right? So just like you said, that you could have a lead certificate that was not necessarily removing all the lead. It was just making sure that the house was compliant. Now, if the house is compliant, doesn't necessarily mean there's no lead. and the house can go out of compliance at some point, over time, if the certain areas start to chip or wear away. They have made the rules, or have made it much easier for a landlord to get compliance.
Yes.
Right? The state has changed some rules over the past couple of years, where landlords again can get compliance certificates much easier than what it was before. It is cheaper now, but they've also now raised the bar in terms of the expectations for landlords getting it done. Right. So the levels are lower now that a kid could test in a positive way that a landlord could get in trouble for, and the fines are a little bit more strict. So, the incentive is to, hey, get it done because it's easier now. And if you don't, we're gonna be tougher on you.
Yeah, I don't know
But,
if it's available now, but they also have grants for
Yep.
delay. You can call again, Wayfinder. It's the best place to call for all this information, where they give you a grant to DLED. So there is stuff out there to help you if you have to DLED the home.
Yeah, that's actually an interesting one. One of these that we may do at some point this year, because we talk a lot about grants for buyers, right? What about grants for homeowners?
Oh,
Right, there is stuff out there. There's the lead grant information.
Yep.
There is some also energy efficiency stuff that you can get as a homeowner. Mass Save is even technically got stuff available for homeowners. So that might be a topic that we do. Yeah.
Out there, like for windows, roofs.
Yeah.
There's stuff out there. It may not be there right this second, but it usually comes around, and once the money runs out, then they repeat it the following year. But there are programs out there. You can call the city, and again, you can call Wayfinder.
Yeah. There's a lot of resources available out there. Mass Save is a pretty good one. They were doing it's 70% off insulation last year. During 2020, they were doing up to 100% off the cost of insulation. They're also doing 0% no interest loans for energy efficient upgrades to like heating systems and windows and stuff like that. They're trying to get you to upgrade, right? And if you can do these upgrades, at low cost, and then you're going to save, on your heating bills down the road. I mean, it's kind of a win-win at that point.
Definitely.
Yeah, definitely. All right. So you guys want to play some games?
Let's do it.
Let's play some games. What? All right.
I'm trying to see.
We're going to play a similar version.
Uh-oh.
Oh, actually, while we're pulling up, one great thing here that Dad mentioned, that some lead work can be done by a homeowner.
Don't you have to get certified, like somewhat certified to get it done? Yeah.
Yep. So there's a class out there that you can take. There's a couple levels of certification. So there's low risk, moderate risk, and then high risk. Low risk, it's basically a test. It's like a take-home test or an online test or a booklet that they give you. And then that allows you to do very minor things, like maybe remove a piece of trim or something like that, or cover something. Whereas a moderate risk might be a little bit more involved, like replacing a door jambs or windows and stuff like that. Well, the low risk you can get very easily. And again, an owner can take care of those repairs on their own. Whereas a moderate risk, there is a certification. There's a class that you need to take. A couple $100 might take you a month or two in order to get the class. But basically, the whole point is they want to educate you in terms of proper handling and disposal of the lead, right? And then also a cleanup, because a lot of the issues that when we're dealing with lead is lead dust. So you don't want to be in a situation where you're doing a bunch of scraping or a bunch of work and you're creating a lead dust situation all over the place. All right, I'm actually going to pull this up on my iPad because I'm having an issue with my computer over here.
That's something I actually look at when we're looking at houses and it's the old wood windows. You can pretty much guarantee there's some lead somewhere out there and it's creating dust. And that's especially if they have a little kid. That's where it gets real dangerous.
Definitely.
Not an inspector, and I always say, hey, I'm not a professional, but this house is old and these are old wood windows. I would put that disclosure out there.
All right, so who wants to pick the zip code?
Maria. I did last week.
01107.
That's
think we
so what we did last time.
We did 09 last time.
Oh, we did 09? Okay.
We did 09, yeah.
All right, we're doing 01107. All right. Now pick a year, because this time we're going back in time.
Traveling back in time.
1929.
Better time.
What? 1929? What? Hold on.
I don't think our stats go that far back.
You said you wanted to go back.
I'm talking about okay.
In our lifetime back? Okay. Let's see.
Lifetime. No, how about this millennium?
30 years.
How about, 2001.
2001.
The year we graduated high school.
There you go. Good
It's our
year.
graduation year, Elias.
That was the year I got licensed. No, actually, no. I got licensed in 2002.
2002.
All right. So, in 2001, single families in the 01107 area. How many do you think sold on the MLS? 01107.
For the
Single
year?
family. Want to take a guess?
Oh, wait a minute.
All right, how about this? Is it higher or lower than 40?
In 2001?
2001.
For the whole year in 010 and 07.
07?
Uh,
Less.
More.
April's saying less. Arlene's going with more.
I'm
All right,
less.
it is less. It is less. Now for the bonus points. 13. Is he picking a year?
1349. Were we even a country then?
How many houses actually sold in 01107 in 2001? Single
9.
family.
27.
9.
Arlene's with 27.
9. Did you hear me?
Wait, what?
35.
35.
How many?
35.
That was close.
5?
I was within 10.
I sold all of those.
35. You know, I was thinking 35 was not that much, but I guess, if you're taking consideration all the zip codes, yeah.
That's a lot for
What it is.
011.
Wait, I need to know, where is 01107? What? I'm
The
like,
North End.
It's near Bay State.
North
oh,
End.
that's near Bay State. All right. That changes my perspective a little bit.
All right, you guys ready?
Gotcha. All right.
Let's see here. I'm going to see if I can find something. And I'm going to go with this one. This is an interesting one. Okay. Now, this is a 6-room, 3-bedroom colonial. It's 1,331 square feet. Take a peek at this colonial house. Has much to offer, lots of storage space. Features include a carport through what? Oh, wall-to-wall carpet. As I'm reading this off here, finished space with the attic, also wall-to-wall carpet. Lots of closet space. 3 bedrooms. It was listed at originally $79,000, but it went down to $73,000 before it actually sold.
What year was this?
This was 2001.
Oh, okay. 2001.
So what are you asking us?
What did it actually sell for?
That's the one I sold for 49,000.
69.7.
69.7.
Yep.
That's good.
The house is white. Off-street parking.
What color? Off-street parking.
What was the last price on it?
70.
Before it got an accepted offer, it had dropped the price to $73,000.
I'm gonna go 69.7.
67.
67. 67.
I was right. 49.
Not too bad though. Not too bad. What's interesting is that it did sell for less than it was on the market for. It sold for $70,000. And
Nice.
yes,
Close.
You go, Eileen.
and yes, You did sell this house, Mom. You did sell this house.
I
I
sold
I was
everything.
$300 off. I was $300 off. I'm taking that as a win.
Yeah, that was 54 Worcester Ave in
Oh my
in
goodness.
Springfield.
Oh, you told her the address. I bet she remembers the buyer, the seller.
Well, that
and
one we
everything.
can we'll say the address on this. Well, you know, we got a special guest today, so we might as well see if we could trip her up.
You did already.
All right, here's a good one. Okay. Well, you know what would be interesting if I did give you the address and see if you remember the price.
What did it sell for?
Went backwards.
People, not-
See,
I
just
remember
give me the
people.
price. See if you describe it all. All right, so this is the next one. It's a ranch. 5 rooms, 3 bedrooms, 2.5 baths, 1,664 square feet. Unique vinyl sided ranch built in 1989. 5 rooms, 3 bedrooms, master bath. Back room had separate thermostat. Kitchen with oak cabinets, sliders to a deck. Full finished basement.
That's going for like $249 these days.
Garage got a garage, electric heat, wood stove.
Garage. I had a garage.
What did it list for? Do you not want
It
to tell us?
listed. I don't know if I should even tell you the price that it listed for.
Let's just shoot in the dark. Shoot, we're gonna just
124, somewhere around there.
2001 ranch.
It's 2001. Remember, the market was much different. And that other one sold for
92.5.
70 something.
92.5.
$89,000, folks.
I'm
$89,900.
so close. I'm taking that as a win.
That was 28
Out of the
Abbey Avenue, Mom. 28 Abbey Avenue.
Didn't I sell that one?
Yes, you did.
Trying to tell me.
What's so funny is, you know, I'm looking at these, and there's a whole bunch of them with your name on them.
But I remember the client.
Yep. That's so funny. All right. So we're gonna switch to another year. Let's do 2000.
Selling agent.
We should do 2008 during the crash.
All right, we're going to 2008. So we're traveling forward a couple of years. Same neighborhood. Let's see how things have changed in the last 7 years.
Wow.
That's when everything tanked.
Yeah.
This is home with America.
Yeah, so this is when prices were up there. Now, let's see here.
We're up there or
What do we
dropped?
got? So right off the bat, 2008. How many houses do you think sold in that zip code for single families?
23.
2008.
Remember, 2001, we were at 35?
Oh, yeah. So that.
Much different market in 2008.
2008.
I'm at. Oh man, I'm gonna have to go over 42.
How about you saying 42?
Yeah.
It's not a lot of houses in that area. There's not a lot of houses that go on the market in 01107.
No.
I'm thinking people are trying to sell their houses right at that point. They're trying to get rid of them.
But a lot of people hold their houses in that area. 24.
24?
Yeah.
10.
10. We got 60.
Like
James
I
said
said,
60.
a lot of people hold their houses in that area, which is a good thing.
10. 10.
Wow.
10.
Wow.
Crazy difference. So a third of the houses
I sell those
we're
10.
selling.
Never mind.
I know. How many of those were?
Oh, you don't have
2001, 35 sold in that zip code. In 2008, we were down to 10. So let's go right on to see what we've got for a couple sales here. All right, here 7 rooms, 3 bedrooms. This is a brick Cape, nice property. 2 baths. Does have a fireplace. 2,115 square feet. Huge inside open floor plan. Newer pool equipment, 1-car
Great.
garage,
It's a
fenced in yard, patio, great Berbers.
172.5.
It was and I'll give you the original listing price on this one.
Just come up random numbers.
Yeah, right. The original listing price on this one was 189.9.
172.5. I'm sticking to it.
What year?
That's 2008.
Well,
When
the year it sold was 2008, and maybe this is too much of a clue, and I shouldn't even tell you this much. But it was originally listed the year before, starting at 189. That's when it first got listed, and it took 11 months to sell.
Between 165 and 172.5.
April's at 159.
I'm gonna give you a range.
What are you going with?
I said between 165 and 172.5.
163.
163. 157.
Oh,
157. You know, it's crazy. It just shows you exactly how that market went, right? So in 2001, 3 times as many houses. The prices were much lower, right? Skip over to 2008, less houses, prices are up, but we also know that at that time prices were declining, right? So we were in kind of that weird area there. So that one got listed, like I said, overpriced, obviously, and then ended up selling for much less.
technically Tim won because he guessed $1 if we're going by the Price is Right rules.
Oh.
Good move.
We should go by the Price is Right rules.
Good move.
All right, so we've got another one. So you know, this is going to be an interesting one, and I'm gonna tell you the street because I feel like it needs to be a clue in this. Okay. And again, this is 2000 and when did this close? It closed in 2008. Yeah, closed in 2008. Originally started on the market in 2006 for $499. Right, started in 2006 for $499. It was on, again, this is the clue, and I don't normally give this clue.
Okay.
Oh, we feel so special.
It was on Springfield Street.
Okay.
Next to the hospital.
Right. Yep.
So right next to the hospital, 3,584 square feet. I had a more than half an acre, so I had a good sized lot for the area. Circa 1915, it was a colonial revival, built by Napoleon Russell. It was an estate, essentially, landscaping, fencing, spectacular, all around pool, concrete area, beautiful property.
What did it sell for? I mean, what did it list for initially?
It listed for $499 in 2006. And again, it didn't sell until March of 2008.
$349.
$349?
Mm-hmm.
$349. Is that your final answer? Anybody else?
That's all I got.
340. No, that you said 349, 339.
Al said 350. James says 351. I see what game you're playing there.
Just go $1. Go right on one over everybody, right? 310.
Wow.
310. You know, but that's not bad for saying in the 340s, considering it started at $500,000. Yeah. But again, shows you the completely different situation that we were in then that we are now. You know, that house sold $310,000.
Would sell for $500. That house now would sell definitely for $500.
Oh, this house right now, yeah, I'm sure it would sell for much more than what's bought it for.
When we're looking at this, it really does bring up the people that say, you know, we're creating a new bubble like we did then. This is proving that that's a whole different scenario than what we're experiencing now.
Right.
Yeah. No, it is. It is. You know, just doing a quick, and again, I'm not doing an actual CMA on this thing, just pulling the RPR number without doing a CMA. The RPR brings it up as high as 408. You know, and if you look back Sometimes we look at the market updates and it shows you that graph of Springfield or other areas versus the state, right?
Mhm.
And that shows you when everybody went over that median price from the pre-crash number. So when the peak was and then it crashed. Most of the state, 2016 had already recovered and was beyond that. And Springfield didn't, or some of our areas didn't pass those pre-crash, highs until within the last year or two.
Yeah, we didn't hit that. We didn't hit that peak until right before COVID, and all of a sudden we just took off because of everything that happened.
Mhm.
Yeah. It was interesting for 2017. I'm like, we're getting there, and but part of that thought was also that Springfield then became even more attractive because everybody else had kind of recovered. Springfield still had that opportunity for equity gain more versus everybody else because they still had that recovery that they were still going through. It's just interesting. Again, going back in some of these numbers, it's just like, and I was selling houses at this time, and it's like, wow, man, that's right. Houses did sit on the market for 2 years. Houses did sit on the market for long, and sellers did drop the price $100,000 here and there, depending on what they originally
That was definitely a buyer's market.
Oh, it was. Now this is one. We're gonna go on the other direction. This is something it needs a little work. All right, and if James is on, he might know this one. Let's see here. 46 Washburn Street. Oh, I gave you the address. I didn't want to do that.
Yeah, you failed. Next.
I failed. Never mind. I didn't say that.
I got my iPad. I'll look it up.
All right, we're gonna actually ruin that one. I would ruin that one. All right, here. I'm about to give you the address again.
Don't do it.
That was a mistake. All right. 960 square feet. This is a ranch, a newer 3-bedroom ranch, convenient location with the full basement. This was a bank-owned property. Okay. Now it was originally listed in 2008 in September, and then it sold in December of that year. Conventional fixed financing, 960 square feet. You got to guess on the price?
900. What year was this?
This is 2008.
2008, 960 square. How long was it on the market for?
3 months. Sold fast.
What was the list price?
Does he want to tell us?
I don't know if I want to tell you the list price. All right.
$49.99.
60 grand. 60 grand.
It was a ranch. Was it a raised ranch?
57.5. 57.5.
49,999.
I say 49.
63.5.
Woo! Go Eileen.
That was. Is that what I said?
Did you
Not
say
bad.
67?
I said. What did I say? I don't even know what I said.
Well, we find
I said
out.
50. Did I say 57?
Oh, I thought that.
All right, we'll do let's do one more actually, and then we'll move on. All right, so this will be the last one. Now I think I sold this house another time because it looks
That's not fair.
it looks familiar. Okay. So this is the clue on this one is that it's actually an Atwater park. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
We know Atwater. Next
I know the address.
Yeah, I'm not giving you the address.
I know the address.
You already know.
You already know the address. She already looked it up.
Neighborhood.
9 rooms, 5 bedrooms, 2,475 square feet.
Different one.
Now this has 1.5 acres, 2.5 baths. Does have some brick, and like I said, 5 bedrooms.
Remember that house?
So it's pretty much an executive cape.
They have some
9
really
rooms, 5 bedrooms,
I
2.5
remember
baths.
that.
Red, 1.5 acres.
What was it? What was it? What was the
What
listing
did it
price?
sell for? I'm going to tell you it sold for the asking price. That's the clue.
How long? Wait, 2008. It sold for the asking price. 5 bedrooms,
1.5 acres.
1.5 acres, 323.
323.
5.
Nah. I tried bringing up my sound effects, and for some reason, my computer's being a pain. I wish I had my sound effects right now.
Wow, you really want to bust that in my face.
I do. I just want to. It's sold. I guess I kind of lied because I said it sold for the asking price. It sold for the asking price after it did several price reductions.
Oh.
It started.
Oh, you cheater.
Yeah. It started at 292. It's dropped to 279. Dropped finally for the selling price of $249,900, which it then did finally sell for the asking price.
That's
so I didn't actually fully lie.
If you had said that, yeah, like I was optimistic with my number, but you told me if you said it had a few price reductions, I would have adjusted mine. Well, at least I didn't go 524. Holy crap, 52.4. No, that's a whole different offer. Never mind.
Right.
I was looking at the. It says 54.
Hold on? You're looking at the MLS?
Who?
Oh, you're looking at the comments.
I'm looking at the comments. I see James put 52.4, and I'm like, where'd that number come from? He could be looking at the MLS. He has access to.
My music stopped for a minute there, but I started it back up again. Okay.
Yeah, I figured it was an old comment.
Can you see the comments?
All right. So hold on here. Did I have I'm gonna throw the ticker on there just for in case anybody wants to schedule a call with anybody. Now we're getting into spring's coming soon, right? People are gonna be getting ready to list.
Hopefully.
Let's hope, yes.
Yep.
Yeah, hopefully.
Great time. It's
So,
great time selling.
What are your best tips right now, Mom, for someone thinking about selling this year or getting ready to sell this year?
If they're thinking of listing their property, be ready to sell quickly. A lot of people think, I'm going to list the property. It's going to take a couple of weeks before I get an offer. And, by the time it closes, no, not in this market. If you put it on the market, it's in good condition and it's priced right, it's going to go probably the same week that you list it. So be prepared to make the move. Really be prepared. Where are you going? What are you going to do if it does sell right away?
Have a plan.
Definitely have a plan.
Have a plan. Hold on, let me see if I can do something here. I just wanted to check in on April real quick.
Cam.
Hey.
Hi.
Especially if you're thinking of purchasing, you're really going to have to plan that closely and work with a realtor that's really going to guide you through that process.
Yeah, what are the biggest mistakes you think that sellers might make this year if they don't work with an agent?
If they don't work with an agent,
they're not going to get the best price because agents have more access to the all the buyers out there.
Arlene?
And are going to guide you and are going to guide you.
Yes.
Properly, especially if you're going to go purchase another property. That can be very stressful. You got to be very organized. And like Elias said, you got to have a plan.
You might not know if you're a for sale by owner, you might not know the right questions to ask in order to get the best possible buyers.
Yes.
It's true. So it's not always about the highest price.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And we know that very well. Right. And there's always those possibilities of issues with inspections, issues with financing, choosing the highest offer, but that highest offer has a loan that doesn't necessarily fit your property or your property won't pass for that loan. You know, if your house needs too many repairs and the buyer's going FHA, you know, that buyer maybe is asking for closing costs. What does that mean for you as a seller?
Just dealing
And
with multiple offers. 10
yeah,
offers.
dealing with those multiple offers. And, you know, and if you are in that multiple offer situation, how do you weed through, you know, the serious offers? How do you know which ones are the strongest? How do you respond? You know, because you can respond differently depending on what your situation is, and how you respond could be the difference between thousands and thousands of dollars. Especially when we have things like escalation clauses, like we've talked about that before, you know, making sure that the seller understands what the ins and out of that. Potential appraisal issues with any buyer coming down the line, right? You know, if you've got, you know, buyers making offers so far above the asking price that there's no way it's going to appraise, well, what are you going to do when it doesn't appraise? You know, some sellers are maybe under that impression that you know, no matter what the buyer offers, I'm getting that.
Right.
No, not the case, because what it is the bank is going to be there to say, well, it ain't worth it. And then if you haven't negotiated some sort of backup plan for the difference to be paid or some other option negotiated, then you're not getting that. And it's very important for the sellers to have the person that guides them through the process, right? Not just to find a buyer. Because that's what it used to be for agents, right? We used to be the doorkeepers or the gatekeepers to all the knowledge, all the properties, all the buyers. Now with the internet, you know, you're gonna be exposed pretty well out there, and it's really important to have the agent that's knowledgeable to guide you through the process. Make sure that you're avoiding landmines, right, and that you're setting everything up properly. Again, like you said, especially if you're buying, because when you go to buy, you're going to have the same problems as all the buyers, and actually more problems, because you got this extra baggage called the house to sell. You know, when those other sellers are reviewing multiple offers and your offer is the same as another buyer and you have a contingency to sell your house, your offer is not as strong as the buyer without that contingency, because that seller is now looking at, I got 2 buyers that need to get approval, 2 appraisals that need to happen, 2 inspections that need to happen in order for me to close with your sale, because you've got somebody. And who is that guy? Right. I didn't vet them. You know, what if they can't get a loan and now everything falls apart? You got that domino effect, right?
I've also come across some for sale by owners, have buyers looking, you know, on Zillow and all that and they find for sale by owners. And I've talked to them and I'll say, why aren't you working with an agent? They would say they have an attorney that's helping them. What they're not realizing is the attorney's just there for the contract. They're not going to go negotiate for you. If you come across a problem, they're not going to help you. They're just there to literally look at the contract, and that's basically all they do. And, you know, they're a real estate attorney, but they're not helping you at any point in the process.
Yeah, there are some attorneys that will.
Yeah,
but
that will.
You're going to get charged for that.
Yep.
Every hour.
I had a buyer, you know, I bring up this story a lot. You know, there are real estate attorneys, and then there are attorneys that will do real estate, right? And there's a difference, because typically, or at least in our area, a real estate attorney, you know, they do this a lot. So they know all the ins and outs. And then they typically, just what a lot of the attorneys do, have some sort of flat fee that they charge as part of the transaction. I had an experience one time where a client brought his own attorney into the, you know, hey, I told him, hey, I got real estate. Oh no, I've got my own attorney. You know, he said he's going to help me out. He does this types of stuff. Fine. We cash investor and everything, made an offer on a short sale. And as you remember, short sales back in the day were not short. They were long. They took a while. And we negotiated. Yeah, they took a while. So we had negotiated on the short sale, got an accepted offer. I ended up going back and forth a couple times with the lender that held the note. And in the end, it didn't get approved. So deal didn't happen. Buyer walked away. We got our deposit back. Buyer contacts me like a week later. Hey, I got a bill from my attorney. I was like, really? That's interesting. Yeah. $2,500 he got charged. $2,500 bill. And he didn't even buy the property. You know, what it was is that the attorney was charging him for his services, and right, and everybody charges different amount depending on whatever it is that they're worth and whatever it is that they offer. But people need to understand what it is that you're going to be charged. And like I said, it was $2,500 for the attorney. We never even closed. And what it was is I used to update everybody, right? I would send an email to the attorney, hey, this is what's going on, just to FYI. Every time I sent an update, or every time I called and I left them a message, an update, he charged the buyer for 15 minutes.
Yep.
Because it was a 15-minute minimum to work on the file. And every time he opened up an email, it was working on the file.
Billable hours, man. That's how they work.
Billable hours. Exactly. Now that's crazy because again, most of the time when we're dealing with buyers, it's a flat fee. So it's very important to understand who you work with. I had another seller, and this was on the selling side. And again, both of these situations, these clients showed up with their own attorney saying, this is my trusted guy. And this is guys telling me this is what I'm going to do. Right. I had a seller come with a commercial property that we sold. And we ended up going back and forth. We had a lot of issues going back and forth on contracts and everything. And the seller's attorney was like very difficult in terms of working with them. Everything was a process. Everything, I needed to review this. I got to do this. And he would drag everything out. Everything was a negotiation, like over the top. And again, the seller brought his own attorney. So I had nothing to do with whatever it is they had agreed upon. We closed on the property. The seller called me like a week later. This is absolutely insane. He got a bill for $18,000.
Holy crap.
From his attorney. $18,000. It was $18,000 worth of billable hours is what he got.
Wow.
$18,000. Yeah. Absolutely insane. He negotiated it down to $9,000. He offered him a discount. He said, I'll just charge you $9,000. And what was even crazier is that the seller was telling me, and the seller called me like, I can't believe this guy would do this. And I'm like, didn't you have an agreement? I told you. And what was even funny is I had even asked the seller, is he charging you? What is he charging you? And the seller was like, oh, he told me not to worry about it. So I'm thinking they got a relationship. He's not really going to get charged. He told him not to worry about it. He accepted that. The seller's freaking out. He told me not to worry about it. Yeah, of course he told you not to worry about it because he wanted the bill to go up as high as possible.
What year was that?
$18,000 bill for a property that sold for $236,000. That is absolutely insane. I know I went on a little bit of a rant there.
Well, what year was this? When did this happen?
That one was like 3 years ago.
Yeah. But
Just
that's
Can that even happen now with TRID and all that? Like they have to disclose costs.
This was a seller.
Oh,
this is not a buyer. This was the seller.
Right.
and
My
that's
It was the seller.
there
And
are
the other
really
deal was a
good-
cash buyer.
There are really good real estate attorneys out there.
We know some.
So the important thing is to work with an attorney that does real estate. That's their business, real estate.
Yep.
And ask what you're going to be charged. Even if you referred somebody and everyone's telling, oh yeah, I use this person all the time, they're great. Ask what you're going to be charged.
Yep.
All right. Because you need to know what it is that you're about to get into. You need to know what your expectations are.
Right.
And especially even with this same attorney scenario, when we go into different spots in Massachusetts, things are done differently everywhere, right?
Okay.
So there are some areas, or here traditionally, again, Western Massachusetts, a buyer gets the closing attorney, and the closing attorney will typically, they do the closing, they represent the bank, but they'll typically do some stuff for the buyer. They'll review the contract with the buyer. You go to Worcester or you go out to Boston, and there's two attorneys.
Right.
You have the closing attorney, and then they won't review contracts. You have to hire a separate attorney to represent just you as the buyer. They review those contracts. They deal with extensions. They deal with all those types of things, but you're paying twice the cost.
Yeah, the lender has an attorney, right? And then the lender has an attorney, and then you have to get your own attorney. It's like
you're paying for all these attorneys.
And you're paying for it all.
And that just comes down to the tradition, how things are, the culture of how things are done in certain areas. That maybe even will change. Seeing as how we're seeing so many other things change in our market right now. Yeah. So,
So ask questions. Don't be afraid to ask questions.
Exactly.
yeah,
Exactly.
don't be
And
afraid
that's
to
what we're
ask.
here for. That's what we do as realtors. We field your questions. If we don't know the answer, we know the right person to send you to.
Y se habla español. Si quieren preguntar preguntas, yo estoy aquí para ayudarlos.
Hold
Yes,
on
you-
here. I'm gonna arrange this a few different ways. There we go. There we go. So, any other spring tips? Did we even get into spring selling tips yet, or did I
Well, we
kind of
talked
skip
about
over
seller.
that?
Yeah, we talked about seller being ready.
Being ready to sell that
Decluttering.
same, put it on. Decluttering, gutters cleaned.
Any obvious maintenance
hand-
issues?
Hand railings, making sure safety issues are taken care of.
Get a realtor in there before you actually list so we can tell you what you need to do in order to have an easy sale, or as easy as it can be.
We can give you a to-do list.
Yeah, definitely. So there's a lot of stuff you're gonna need to do. Obviously, it's the cleaning, the preparing, the decluttering. And that's all stuff a lot of people do in the spring, anyways.
Mhm.
I'm sorry.
Preparing mentally too.
Oh yeah, preparing mentally for the stress, of dealing with some high speed situations,
Correct.
right? When you put it on the market, just like you said before, be ready that it's going to go fast.
Yep.
Right. Some people used to think I'll put my house on the market and then I got 4 or 5 months before I'm going anywhere.
No.
It's not the case. If you're putting your house on the market, you need to be ready to go. Like, you need to be ready to go now. And either you need to know where you're going, or you need to talk to your agent about coming up with a plan.
How about even though it's a heavy seller's market, does not mean you can list it for whatever the heck you want. We do we run an analysis of the area, and we make sure you're listed properly, because you overlist, and it's like you might as well just shoot yourself in the foot, because you're not going to sell it for what it could. So
yeah, there is a point where, like you said, you overlist, and then you have to do that price reduction. And when you do that price reduction, it may not necessarily trigger a ton of activity on it. Some buyers do get concerned about it being stale. Is there something wrong with the house? And if you price it just right, you'll get a little bit more, right? And because of the way the demand is, people are going to compete for that, and somebody's going to push it up. But if you start too high, then people are scraping at that to kind of bring it down.
Be better to start a little lower, even just to cause a frenzy, and a lot of people lose their minds, and then maybe get more than if you listed it properly.
That could be the case. I mean, right now, I think a lot of people, what they can do is, if you do any type of CMA, whatever you come up with for pricing, you can probably, go slightly over that. And I'm not talking about, we're going 50 grand, over the CMS. We're going to list at 250. Nah, I mean, maybe you're at 225 or something like that. And your offers might get you to 250, possibly. I mean, if it's really crazy, right? Yep. And we have been seeing many situations where it's 20,000 over the asking price is fairly common. For offers to come in.
If priced right, you're going to see that. Yes.
Yeah, definitely. I don't know why my music is just not wanting to play today.
How long do you think? So for sellers out there that are listing with other agents, how long should the house sit on the market before they could get concerned and need a price reduction?
In this market?
Yeah. Well, I know the answer. I'm just saying, throwing it out there. What if you're with a seller and you're meeting with them? Be like, if we don't get this number by X amount of days, we need a price reduction.
A week.
A week. Is that what you're saying?
Why wait? This is a hot market. Obviously, it's not priced right.
Well, when you say that week, it depends, right? It depends. I mean, I think that if you're that weak and you're getting tons of activity, it might be worth waiting a little bit longer. But if you go that week and you're not really getting activity, that is a clear indicator that you're overpriced.
Definitely.
Because there's kind of two different prices you have, right? You have the priced well enough to get showings, then you have priced well enough to get an offer, right? And so you have that little bit of a window there where you might like I said, you might still be priced well enough for an offer, but just need to hold out just slightly more. But yeah, you ain't waiting a whole month before you're doing a price reduction. That is certainly way too long to be waiting to do a price reduction on your property. Yeah, and up to that point, I would imagine that you'd have at least some feedback. Feedback. Actually, one of our agents, asked about that today, showing time, giving feedback, and I'm horrible at it. I'll fill them out, but it's also kind of like, if my buyer's going to make an offer, that's the feedback, right?
Yep.
I don't want to be like, oh yeah, they think it's underpriced and they're really love the house. Well, I don't want to write that and then make an offer. I'm just, I'll make the offer. That's the feedback, right?
And as an agent, you would know, like, you would know yourself what's the feedback would be.
Yeah, and I do tend to feel like feedback is a little bit less important at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
And not that's not
to give feedback.
That's not the way to say it. It's not that it's not important. It's just agents aren't as concerned about it these days because the houses are selling so quick. Typically,
there's no time for it.
Tool we use in order to show the seller the reality of the situation. Like, hey, you're not getting any offers. This is the feedback.
The feedback is overpriced.
First couple of days, yeah, exactly. That's the feedback. But if if you're getting a bunch of offers right off the bat, there's no point in. You're not going to utilize that, right? And then it's kind of like, are you going to do it or not? Yeah.
Any questions out there? Nobody's shooting us questions?
I don't see any questions right now. We got a couple people on, and we've hit our hour. We can stay on. If there's anything else in particular you guys know you want to go over, I don't know what it is. I'm so annoyed by my music today. I don't know why it just kept cutting out. And
started off
I
good.
had a separate April cam. But of course I had to switch over to just the switch cam as opposed to doing her own.
We need to get April some costumes, so when we switch to her, it's like she's in something cool.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure we said that before.
I said that last time. Get like a bunny costume and just,
just
sit
switch it
there
up.
randomly.
Actually all right. Well, if there's anything in particular that you guys want to talk about, or any thoughts or any craziness, any stories you've had this past week, any inspirational things, any past clients, any cool closings?
You know what I'm coming? This is not cool or fun or anything in between that you just said, but I'm coming across a lot of knob and tube wiring, and I've had a few issues with it. I had a deal not work out because the knob and tube is so expensive to fix. And not only that, it increases your insurance. I had somebody last year doubled their insurance, and thankfully it was still within their debt to income ratio. And that's something you're not even thinking about. Like, I had this buyer, she was okay with it and everything was fine. But when she went to get her insurance, which is done towards the end of the process, they start looking at that after the inspection and all that stuff is done. And then you see that the insurance doubled, even tripled. That's if they can even get it insured. There's insurance companies that they won't insure knob and tube. Yeah. And I'm coming across, especially these older multifamilies, I'm seeing it quite a bit. And it's, it's really discouraging because buyers, it's scaring people away.
Yeah.
No, definitely. It's something to be cautious of because of the payments, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that payment can go up because of that, and that can kind of push them out of the qualifications. Also, some buyers, and not necessarily related to knob and tube, but there are some insurance companies that will rate buyers' payments based on credit.
Yep.
And if you have a buyer who is, let's say, just scraping by in terms of qualification, then this is another reason. You should really be overqualified when you're buying. You shouldn't be buying at your absolute max. You should be buying well below what your qualifications are, because if you are at your absolute max, things like insurance and that quote being $100 higher than what the bank was thinking could prevent you from actually qualifying in the end. Right. And so you don't want to put yourself in a situation where you're relying on hopefully this is going to work out. And like you said, that knob and tube is a huge thing. You know, I've heard all, you know, licensed electricians, oh, knob and tube is fine. You know, it's within code, but then it's not for certain things, but then you also can't get insulation for certain, you know, you can't do like things like mass save unless you show that you don't have knob and tube in certain years, because they don't want to do blown in insulation with the older wiring. So it does pose, you know, issues there. There are insurance companies now that will come out and do checks on your house. You know, this is something that we didn't typically see in years past, but now you know, there are insurance companies that are asking for inspection reports up front, right? Which is what?
No, thank you.
They're asking for inspection report. I mean, it's understandable. You know, it's understandable. I mean, again, when we go back to the whole conversation, if I was handing out, you know, $300,000 to somebody, what would I ask for in order to prove my investment was safe, right?
Yeah.
You know, so they're looking for things. They're looking at, you know, again, the condition. You know, what are the types of repairs? What are your credit, you know, situation? Are you going to be able to pay this? Because they're concerned about you paying that insurance payment so that the house is actually protected, or the investment's actually protected. You know, I've you know, I've seen estates, you know, again, depending on what you're doing, you know, a 3-family house can be like 15 grand, you know, to repair.
Oh no, it's a lot.
It is a lot. It's a lot, you know, there, and, you know, sometimes we see with some of these flippers, well, they'll go through and they'll, you know, redo a bunch of stuff, and you're like, oh, it doesn't look like there's any knob and tube, but there very well could be, you know, depending on how they did the work. Sometimes they'll do the stuff where they just do whatever is visible.
Yep. Visual knob.
Whatever is visible knob and tube. Everything in the basement, whatever was in the attic, all right? And so when you look, it looks like everything's, you know, done and updated, but then you've got, you know, 2-prong outlets, right? Or you've got ungrounded outlets. Or the more recent thing, and I don't know how this even works, you've got GFCI outlets that they'll put the GFCIs where the 2-prong or the knob and tube is. And I guess it somehow updates it in some way, but you know, the inspectors still typically see that and say, hey, you know, this is something to watch out for.
It trips the electricity, but I mean, the problem with the knob and tube is the wiring and the knobs and stuff. So your electricity could be fine, like it'll trip, but you could have issues within the walls, you know.
Yeah. I mean, that's with anything, you know, you know, anything that's behind a wall, you're going to have unknown issues, right? Plumbing, you know, that you've had plumbing behind your wall, even newer wiring. This was actually an interesting thing. You know, we had some work done in our house, and a buddy of mine, you know, he had done some electrical work on his house, and he had asked, you know, what were you going to do to update outlets? And he and his house had used a different type of a wiring where it's within the metal sheeting, right? Versus the typical wires like we see that's got the plastic or the rubber, you know, covering on it. And the reason that he was going with the metal stuff is because he's in a more rural area, and his concern was more about like mice, right? And even though it's a very rare situation, mice will use whatever small paths that they'll find, they'll kind of chew away at that in order to increase their way, right? And there are some instances where mice can like chew away at wiring. Right. And you would never know that with newer wiring in your wall. Right. Yeah. So you'd always could have a potential, you know, for some sort of issue. And that's why we need X-ray glasses. You know, we'll make tons of money for home inspectors.
Let's work on that.
Yeah. Yeah. I've been trying since I was a kid. You know, I bought them in a magazine once. They didn't work. If we had something like that, that
You
would.
bought them for another purpose, but then you started thinking logically about real estate.
This is my Boys Life magazine.
Yeah.
Oh, I did get the music back. I feel better now.
I do have another thing to bring up that you mentioned earlier about pre-approvals. When you get a pre-approval from a bank, they're estimating costs. They're estimating how much your insurance is going to be. They're estimating how much your taxes are going to be. So maxing out doesn't, likely won't work, because you could say you have a $200,000 loan, but they're estimating $2,500 in taxes, but the taxes are actually $3,500. That won't work for you. That pops you out of your pre-approval. So
That pre-approval in a different town will change it all up.
Change it all up, yeah. So that's why, when I tell buyers, especially these days, to be competitive in this market, look at houses $20,000, $30,000 less than your pre-approval, so you have some room to compete on top of that.
Yeah, exactly. You can't be looking at your max, because, like I said, you can't compete. You're not going to go under the asking price. Most of the time, you're not going under the asking price. If the house is for a while, then maybe.
It doesn't take much for something to happen to bump you out of your financing.
Oh, yeah, definitely. The rate changes, and now you got a huge problem. I think that just speaks to the whole idea of being prepared as a buyer, right? And that's changing. That's all changing. The minimum amount someone needs to buy now is much different than what it was a couple of years ago, right?
Yep, absolutely. Hey, I like being the center here. Can I dance?
Huh?
I like being the center here. Hey.
Well, you were making a point, so I figured
some music, and I'll stay here.
Let's see if I can get it back going again here.
For people who I am, I'm Arlene the realtor. You see her right there.
I didn't see that one before. So you've got the shirt, you got the logo.
I got the shirt. I got my little name here. I got it on my shelf. It's all about branding these days. Can't miss. Yeah.
Who am I?
Good. You're the star of the show. With this little thing right here too. Right here. Hola.
I know, that's the best one right there. Hold on.
That is. We gotta make that so it ends up on our shoulders during one of the shows.
Funny. Hold on. Did you see the other one? The other one. The one that comes up on the top right.
Yep.
Good job.
All about branding. We're all about it.
I'm glad
all
you
about
guys
it. All about it. All right. So anything else you guys want to share with us before we start wrapping this up for this week?
No, just stay positive. Get out there.
Join me on Monday for Make It Happen Mondays, 10 o'clock.
Yes.
Yep. Yeah, Arlene's doing a motivational thing. You want to tell us more about that?
Yeah, so I am all about motivation, inspiration, and making things happen, which is why it's called Make It Happen Mondays. And this Monday, we have a very special guest, Ms. Maria Acuna, who is amazing, and my lovely broker. And we're going to make things happen on Mondays, 10 o'clock in the morning. Come join us.
Absolutely.
Cool. Well, we had some fun this time. It was nice having you guys on again.
We always have fun this time. We always have fun.
Yeah, we always have fun.
Every time.
Yeah, I bet we'll see how do we do this next time. We'll see if we can actually try to get April on here for some live discussion instead of just
never dancing behind you.
She hears me talking.
Will be the special guest.
She'll be our special guest. We're gonna have her. Maybe we'll have her live play some games with the costume.
Yes. All about it.
We might make an appearance. We've got some new equipment that we've got going on for the office, so we'll see if we can actually get that connected with the live. So maybe create you guys, bring some new visualizations for you guys so you can see what we're doing. And actually, you're probably going to see us a lot more doing some other content. I've got my mom actually doing some videos.
And
You may have seen
Espanol.
one this week. Yeah, she's doing one. Did one in Spanish this week. So the whole idea is that we're going to try to put some good content together for everybody. Maybe some educational videos, so you can have us as a resource that you can come to and get your questions answered. And then obviously you can go ahead and continue to reach out to us directly with any questions. Or if you guys have any ideas that you want to talk about here on the Friday Night Forum in the future, right? We're right there. Follow Arlene at Arlene the Realtor. Yep, follow me anywhere too at HeSellsHouses.
This way, he's still
Yeah, and we're hoping to also expand this maybe a little bit more. Get a couple of other businesses on here so we can talk about business in general. I don't know if you see the.
I see it.
If you can't change it, change your attitude about it.
That's right.
That's right.
Yeah, April wrote that up there this week for me. I think she was trying to tell me something. I'm not sure.
She doesn't like your attitude. That's what she's trying to tell you.
You don't like my attitude.
She's got to
All
keep
right, awesome, guys. I'm going to end it for now. Until next time, we'll see you later.
Buenas
Hey.
noches.
Bye.